Hi and welcome to yet another car file. Now by the end of this week's program you'll be looking at four-seater practical cars in a completely different light. Actually, it'll be more of a blur. Now if you think by buying yourself a practical car that you're not going to have any fun or frolics behind the wheel anymore, well let me tell you this. You're as wrong as the guy who said of the wheel, "Uga, chuga, wuga, shabba." Roughly translated that means, me not think wheel will catch on. Boy was he wrong. If you've the best part of £30,000, well, we have a trio that will not only fit 4 people, but will also scare the living bejesus out of them. This week we have 3 power saloons that are all from very distinguished manufacturers who have all, well let's just say, injected a truckload of testosterone into their bread and butter saloons. When the Impreza first arrived at these shores, it was the 90s answer to the Sierra Cosworth. But when Subaru restyled it a decade later, sales slumped and the competition caught up. Subaru has hit back with this STI, an uprated turbo WRX with more power and better looks. The first Lancer Evolution appeared in 1993, that was 10 whole years ago, and was developed to compete in the World Rally Championship. Over the years, the car has evolved with larger, more powerful engines and a more adept suspension. And as you will have probably guessed, this is the car's 8th incarnation. From BMW, we have the M3 that has the STI and the Evo 8 firmly in its sights.
Well, the 3 cars you've got there might have more horsepower, but I reckon my alternative has got more pulling power. I've certainly been pulled. Join me later to find out more.
Now, if you're a regular car file viewer, well then you know we take 3 cars each week and we test them for practicality, performance, styling, and of course, most importantly, value for money. And right now it's time for exterior styling. We're going to start with the Subaru STI. Now, someone had to come up to me a couple of years ago and told me they were driving an Impreza. I would have been very impressed, but those days are long gone and the Impreza really has lost its status as the car to be seen in. Why? Well, if you chase park buses all your life, you put Dopey and Snow White together, you're going to come up with something ugly, and that's what happened to the old Impreza. It just became ugly. And in this day and age where image is everything, it really doesn't matter how well a car drives, it's also got to look the part. So, with so much riding on this next generation car, Subaru really did want to get it right. And the good news is, they have. Just look at it, it looks fantastic. Gone are the bug-eyed headlights and into these nice big traditional headlights. You've also got these stickers down the bottom, which makes it look like it goes faster, which it actually does. And the hard work didn't stop there. They've reshaped the whole front end of this car, as you can see. These nice big wings along the side. The bonnet has been styled even better with these nice curves. And to top it all, you have this big air scoop intake. Now, whether you love it or loathe it, there is no doubting that this really does look the part and tells you what this car is all about. It's a similar story with the Mitsubishi Evo 8. Unlike the Impreza, the Lancer hasn't really changed its outer styling very much, just enough to keep up with the times. Unfortunately, the good looks fade from the rear doors back. That massive carbon fibre rear spoiler and the impressive alloy wheels do not disguise the fact that they are stuck on a humble saloon. Where the STI and the Evo 8 look like dressed up versions of more mundane machinery, the M3 looks like it's meant to be. For a start, the wide wheel arches are not bolted on kits but stamped into the panels. Moving to the back, the 4 stainless steel tailpipes and the M3 badge are the only hint of this car's awesome power. In terms of looks, the Evo 8 just lags behind both the Subaru and the M3 because it can't quite manage to mix Boy Racer splitters and spoilers with a very bland body shell. The Subaru is a similar tale. The front is nicer than the previous model. If only the designers would have worked their magic with the rest of the car. Which means in first place is the M3. Overall, it's nicely proportioned and only becomes really impressive the closer you get to it. There's no doubt that the exterior of the Evo 8 and the Subaru STI are designed to appeal to the max power generation, but the real question is, does that brash exterior get carried over to the interior? And as I slide into these rally-inspired seats, the answer to that question becomes very clear. Unfortunately, well, the Evo 8 seems to follow traditional Japanese styling. Everything seems to be where it should be, and you've got this nice blue running through it, which kind of brightens up the whole interior of the car. But it still just seems to look tacky, and it doesn't help with the fact that the dials actually glow red. The center console area, well, oh God, what can I say about it? You've got this big hole here, you've got another big hole down here. For what reason, I've no idea. And as for the buttons and the switches, just touching them I swear, they're going to come off in your hand after a short period of time. In an attempt to not only distinguish the STI from the lesser Impreza models, there are plenty of sporty touches. Drilled pedals, sport seats, Momo steering wheel, and metal effect dash coverings. But although they are all a welcome addition, they actually seem out of place, mainly because the rest of the dash is so tacky. Which brings us to the M3. BMW have done very little to change their interiors, and rightly so. The M3 has an interior which is lighter, more airy and uncluttered compared to the Japanese. The Mitsubishi then disappoints with its drab interior and gains third place. It is still very functional, but it doesn't inspire. Subaru have at least tried to brighten up the plastic dungeon of the old car. The blue clocks on the trim do cheer things up. The interior could still be much better though. Once again, the BMW then is the preferred choice. It looks far better thought out and has much better build quality than the Far Eastern cars, with an elegant simplicity. The BMW gains points because of its good looks, but it loses them because of practicality. Now, although the two-door shape looks absolutely fantastic, it's going to find it very difficult in the practicality test. But, and there's always a but, this reminds me of an old show that used to be on kids' television when I was a wee young little nipper. It's all about this magic caravan that from the outside looked absolutely tiny, but when you got in, don't forget it was a magic caravan, it was huge. And the same can apply to the M3. And as I said, from the outside, it doesn't seem what it is. There's loads of room in here. 6-foot+ people will have no problem fitting in comfortably. And if you need to get in and out of the back, well, the seats, they actually slide forward and tilt up. So you don't have to be a 5-year-old or a contortionist to get in there. Once in there, 2 people will fit quite comfortably. But I will say 3 might be at a bit of a push. The interior overall, it looks really nice. You've got this nice Napa leather here on the seats. Mind you, it does scuff quite easy, especially on the footholds when you're getting in and out of the car. Another nice touch, I think is a very clever move by BMW, is this felt black ceiling. It means you don't have any of those scuff marks that you get on lighter coloured ceilings. And if you smoke, well, you can put another nail in the coffin without having to worry about the ceiling becoming yellow. Now, although the M3 loses points because it's only got 2 doors, it gains them with its boot. That's because it's absolutely massive. It's based on the standard saloon. As you can see, there's tons of room in there. It goes all the way in at the back. And access is great as well. You can put things in and take things out very easily. Despite all the Mitsubishi spoilers and flash bright yellow paint job, the Evo is a very practical car. As you would expect, there is plenty of headroom and legroom in the front and the back. After all, it is based on the average family saloon. While the boot is a good size and will easily swallow all your sports gear and the wife's shopping should you be in a trusting mood. Like the Evo 8, the STI has lots of room in the front and the back. As for the boot, well, as you would expect, it is pretty useful. There's plenty of room for most things. That is, of course, unless you plan on moving the kitchen sink. So to the scores, and in last place, it's the M3. Although it has a good sized boot and has enough room inside for most, you just can't get away from the fact that it's only got 2 doors. We've decided that in second place it's the Impreza, and that's mainly because it just feels that little bit smaller inside. Which means that the winner by a hair's whisker is the Evo 8, although you would need a magnifying glass to see the extra room. Well, that's 3 tests down, and later on in the programme I'll be taking these 3 mean machines out on the road for a little drive and seeing which one offers the best value for money. But right now it's time to join Brendan Coogan and see, has he got an alternative to these 3 machines?
One of the problems in my business is that you just fall in love so often. Just when you've settled down with what you think is your perfect partner, some other bright young thing starts making eyes at you. I remember the first time I fell in love with a 575 Maranello, but then there was the night of passion with a VX220. And my problem is, I try to remain loyal, my fidelity intact, but the problem is, I've got a wandering eye. See what I mean? Who? Come back. My name's Brendan. Hello. I can put you on telly. No, I'm single. Come back. It's true. I'm sorry to say it's that predictable. I'm ashamed. You know the story. Older man falls for bright new model. She's Italian, fiery, passionate. Meet the 5th Mrs. Coogan. My new wife, an Alfa Romeo 156 GTA, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Might seem harmless enough, but get too close and it'll bite your legs off. The 156 has long been admired as an object of beauty in anybody's eyes. The secreted rear door handle, like all the best ideas, was stunning in its simplicity, giving this four-door saloon the airs and graces of a sporty coupe. The badge and grille hinted at the car's appetite for surprising unsuspecting drivers. Its beautifully bespoke alloy wheels are in fact devoid of any spokes, making the car instantly recognisable as an Alfa Romeo. The sheep's clothing in this case are sharp and suited, to say the least. Now, before we have the speeches about just how beautiful the bride is, there's a couple of minor irritations which, if this marriage is going to work, we've got to work on. First of all, there's the back seat. Space in there is cramped. There's room enough for a couple of kids, but a couple of 6-foot adults, and then space is going to be cramped. Then there's the front seat comfort. These seats are beautifully retrospective styling-wise, reminiscent of Spyders of years gone by, and the thigh support and seat adjustments, I've been playing with these for quite a while now, and I just cannot get comfy. They're just too firm and not supportive enough. But that's subjective. Not everybody has a derriere as ample as mine. Who knows, Zola Bud might find them very comfortable. But it's in the driving stakes that this marriage was made in heaven. Let's go. The GTA is the height of discretion. Nobody knows what it is except those people that see the GTA badge on the back. But it is a monster. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, the suspension of this GTA has been seriously uprated. It's got bigger, stiffer anti-roll bars. The damper settings have been stiffened considerably, and it makes for a mighty fine ride. But one thing I would say is that when you go into corners, it has a tendency to bottom out as you accelerate hard as you go up the hill. Sparks are an optional extra. See what I mean? The GTA's got a fantastic engine too. Its 250 brake horsepower, 3.2 litre V6 24 valve engine will get the car from 0 to 60 in 6.3 seconds and onto a limited 155 miles per hour. That is a simply astonishing set of statistics. In the time I've listed them, the car's gone from rest to 60 and back again. Job done. The most beautiful women don't have to wear loads of slap and have implants. The best footballers don't wear the flashiest boots. And the brightest kid in the class was usually one of the quietest. The Alfa 156 GTA is one of the sexiest, most intelligent, best cars on the road. And the best thing is, it doesn't have to shout about it. As for being my perfect partner, I'm happily married. Until the next bright young thing comes along.
Well, that's nearly it for part one of Carfile, but make sure you join me after the break when things hot up. Well, they do for me, because I get to drive the Subaru, the Mitsubishi and the BMW out on the road. And this week, I can tell you, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you in a minute. Hi and welcome back to Carfile. Now this week we have three cars that are not only extremely fast, but they're also very practical. We have the BMW M3, the Subaru STI, and this, the Mitsubishi Evo 8. Now so far we've tested them for practicality and styling. And to be honest with you, why would you buy one of these cars but only to drive it? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. You wonder why I have a smile on my face? Well, if you were sitting where I'm sitting, you'd have a smile on your face. The Evolution 8. What a machine. It is unbelievable. This, without doubt, is a supercar. It'll get you to 60 in just under 5 seconds. Not bad. On the clock, it's 180 miles per hour, but it'll get you to a top speed of 155 miles per hour. Now, one important thing when you're driving a car like this is you need to know what's going on underneath. In other words, at each wheel. And the steering is really positive and lets you know exactly what's happening when you need to know, which is very important. The gearbox, 6-speed gearbox, is really close together, so it really feels like a rally car. And you just have to knock it into gear every so often when you want to change down or up. It's fantastic. And then you throw it around bends like so, and she just stays level. And you accelerate out, you can feel all the four wheels working to keep you where the car should be. Then you knock it back like so and turn. Oh yeah, I'll tell you, you will have so much fun in this car. Jumping into the more welcoming interior of the Subaru and turning the key produces a very welcoming sound. The starter note could be more at home on a massey Ferguson tractor than a 265 brake horsepower turbocharged supercar. The engine gives a unique throbbing and tickover which reminds you of Subaru's expertise and experience with flat 4 engines. On the move, the STI is very rapid indeed. It's a lot of fun. Its suspension is stiffer than the Mitsubishi, which does get tiring after half an hour, maybe an hour, maybe 8 hours, depending on how much you like it. Strangely, it doesn't feel as quick though around the bends. The STI does have a tendency to understeer, more so than the Evo 8. The grip is still excellent, even though the firm ride makes your teeth rattle at times. The throttle response is better than the Mitsubishi, but a run into town may prove to be its undoing. The throttle is so light that the STI can bound ahead like a hyperactive kangaroo, so much so that I found it easier to start off in second, which proves how good the clutch is. Alright, so it is a BMW, you either love them or you like them or hate them, whichever you prefer. I actually really like this car. The question is it really worth the money, in or around £40,000? That's something you're going to have to decide because it's not me that's going to be parting with that amount of money. In or around town, it is exactly the same. It is just really nice to drive. There are no problems. You'll enjoy driving it in slow traffic just as much as you'll enjoy throwing it around the place, which is very important in a car. And underneath the bonnet, well, this is where it gets very exciting. Absolutely marvelously exciting because it's got a 3.26 cylinder engine. And when you start driving it and start putting your foot down on the throttle, you can feel every bit of that. Now that was nothing compared to if you really set it up and get the revs up and take off. It is sensational. What it does is it sends 343 brake horsepower to the rear wheels at 8,000 revs. Oh, that's an awful lot of power. The M3, well, it is a very exciting car with an extremely powerful and usable engine. But its quest for upmarket customers means that in this company it's just too refined and not enough fun. Yet again, the Mitsubishi and the Subaru are very close. With awesome traction and power, the STI is a very impressive package that is let down by load speed and pleasantries. Therefore, it ends up in second. Which means in first place, it's the Evo 8. Okay, so the Subaru is faster in a straight line, but the Evo 8 more than makes up for this in the corners and is also nicer to drive in town. Now, although all of our cars have some great attributes, the most important overriding factor has to be how much each one's going to cost us at the end of the day. So, which one offers the best value for money? First up, it's the BMW M3, and straight away you might as well forget about this because this will cost you a whopping £15,000. Got your attention, didn't I? Not everything is as it seems. Let me finish. This will cost you a whopping £15,000 more than the Subaru and a whopping £13,000 more than the Evo 8. And things don't get any better when you get it out on the road because it'll only return around 23 miles to the gallon. Yes, it's beautiful on the inside and it is a fantastic looking car and I've been singing its praises all day, but is it really worth £39,000? That is an awful lot of money. On the plus side, however, well, residuals are superb. It will hold 60% of its value after 3 years. Next up, it's the Mitsubishi Evo 8, which comes in at £27,000. Like the other two cars, it's an insurance group 20, but it beats the BMW with its fuel consumption. It'll do around 26 miles to the gallon compared to the BMW's 23. But where it can't beat the BMW is when it comes to its residuals. This will only be worth around 54% of its value after 3 years. Last but by no means least, it's the Subaru STI, and this will cost you a very reasonable £25,000. For your money, you get a really good contract hire rate of £550. That's £200 less than the BMW, and it comes with quite a bit of standard equipment. The real downside to this machine is in its residuals. It's only going to be worth around 44% of its value after 3 years. So with all the tests over with, which one of our 3 cars this week will be popping the champagne? In third place this week is the M3. It really is a cracking car and a much better looking vehicle inside and out. But all of this sophistication comes at a very expensive price. And despite all BMW's boasts, this is a car for the executive and not the enthusiast. Which leaves the clash of the titans. They've been close all through the program. The STI and the Evo 8 are very similar machines. But after much deliberation, we've decided that in second place is the Evo. It's fantastic to drive, keenly priced, and will certainly get you noticed. But unfortunately, a massive rear spoiler, big wheels and an impressive front does not hide its basic Lancer roots. If it was £2 cheaper than the Subaru, then I could live with its looks, but it isn't, and this is why it trails behind the Subaru in second place. Which means the Subaru can pop the champagne because it's this week's winner. The new STI offers fantastic value for money, and the name alone evokes rallying ability and presence. Its town manners do let it down a bit, but it would make an excellent second car for any enthusiastic driver, whether they have a family or not. It could look a bit better, but people will still stop and stare. Well, it looks like the ugly ducklings, especially the yellow one, has become beautiful. That's it for Carfile from this week. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. You can't beat driving 3 absolutely mega cars. Make sure you join us next time for another jam-packed Carfile. We shall see you then. Good luck.